the building. We got to go across and see where we are on our socials. Got to get this teamwork that's making the dream work. Let's check. Bobo. Okay, we on. Yep. Get the IG straightened out. Bobo. What's going on? Let's get the Facebook going on here. Yep. Let's get it going. Hope everybody out there is doing well. As SandCity, the Passion Project, rolls along. Okay. Very good, very good. Let's get our volume right. Let's get the levels right so we can get into the intro in a second or two or three. What's going on YouTube? YouTube is, and last but not least, let's get Twitch in order. We're almost there, folks. We are almost there. We got one more platform. Salute, Chris. It's been too long. All right, we got a lot to dive into. We have the Lakers and the Rockets battling right now, so I think we'll start there. We're gonna play the hits. We're gonna start on the left coast. The game is in Houston. LeBron and Luka, okay, on the court together. We're gonna start there. Let me just lock in. Let me just get the Twitch in order. We can't leave any platform behind, and then we're gonna dive right into this episode. Thrilled to be back doing what I love to do, the Passion Project. You know what I mean? Doing you gotta do what I have to do, and then you do what you want to do. What puts wind into the sails. Okay, so let's get Twitch back online. We can't leave Twitch behind. Yes, sir. You know what time it is. Come on, let's go. Oh my goodness. Now we go with this. They're gonna send the security code. Come on, Twitch. Hit me on the email. Hit me on my. Said no. Okay, I got it. I got you, Twitch. I got your security code. Let's go. 977 937. All right. And voila, folks. Twitch. Right? It's been too long, folks. We got to get back to basics. I know the tournament's coming up. We got the World Baseball Classic. We got too much to get to. All right. So without further ado, let's go. Hey, SandCity to the business. I am your host, Turkey, artist with us on Twitch. Thank you all so much for tuning in to SandCity Sports. We are back. And don't think we're not going to talk about the culture. Y'all saw Michael B. Jordan having his moment. You saw it. We're going to talk about the Oscars. SandCity. Go. Come on in and get some of this energy now. Come on in and let me know how you're doing. So all of that will be discussed, right? The nighttime is the right time. This is when I can make, the most. I know, East Coast, it's a little bit later, but hey, it's not that late. Okay, West Coast, we got the 3-hour time difference. How y'all feeling out there on the left? It's only 7:41. Is it still light outside? I think it is. We got this daylight saving time going on. So on the left coast, you guys still got the good sunshine. East Coast, we got this El Nino. El Nino is coming through on the East Coast. We got rain and wind out here. Fortunately, no snow. We don't no more snow. We can't have any more. Even though they're talking about next week, the beginning of the week, getting some snow, but we can't have any more snow. We need sunshine and roses like you guys got out there on the left coast. That's what we need right now. But with this daylight saving, we got a 3-hour difference. So it's only 7. Y'all are in your on a bright desert highway. Cool wind in my hair. What they said? One smell of calitas rising up in the air. Y'all got that good Sunset Boulevard, even though that was Hotel California. But right on the left coast, it's still that sunset off in the distance. That warm 75-degree weather. My people in AZ telling me they already heading towards triple digits. I'm hearing triple digits in AZ. That's what I'm hearing right now. Okay. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We are not there yet on the East Coast. We still in March. So and old man winter is holding on for dear life. Talking about we're gonna have some more snow. It's crazy. School year is going all the way to late June, which I know a lot of people don't want to hear. Your boy doesn't have a problem with it. As soon as the weather turns second week of May, I'm good. We just ride this thing out. Now I know you still got, right? You want the college kids come home and, they feeling themselves and this. But as soon as the weather turns around, I got some sunshine in the morning, your boy is good. I don't have to go outside and start warm the car up, give it 5-10 minutes to get warm like I do now. I'm happy. But we're certainly going to, but when you get into the building, some of these older buildings, they ain't got that AC. They say get a little hot, get a little touch and go in the older buildings, but we make it work. You make it work. So looking forward to that in the future. But let's dive right in, folks. A lot to get to. Appreciate you guys on the check-in. But we're starting in the city of angels. We're gonna start in LA and what's going on. It's been up and down, right? It's been up and down. But your boy Luka been balling. Right? It's been up and down, but Luka's been balling as of late. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Did he get the N.B.A. player of the week? 100 degrees every single day. What is going on? Y'all not supposed to be triple digits in LA. Arizona, yes. That's not LA. You're supposed to have a little, where's that San Diego, that cool breeze? From your neighbors to the south. San Diego, 70 degrees, 75, cool, right? 100 degrees. This is not. We got to bring it in. That's a little too hot. That's a little too crispy for the city of angels. So I'm not gonna say I'm, but we got to bring that down into the 90s and the 80s because again, it's just March. It's just March. That's too much. So we're gonna keep a close eye on that. But speaking of folks who's cooking, speaking of folks that's cooking right now, what's up with your boy Luka? All right. What did we learn from Mike Lowry in Bad Boys? I'm talking the original. I'm not talking 2 and 3, even though. But I need the original. All right. Okay. And Martin Lawrence's character, he said he ain't trying to break up a happy home. That was Mike Lowry was Will Smith. Okay. And Martin Lawrence's character, I got to look it up now. But Martin said, we ain't trying to break up a happy home. He told Mike Lowry, don't try to break up a happy home. Remember when Mike had to stay with him right? And then Martin was outside, had to tackle him, right? Because he ain't getting his quality time. He had to tackle him. Okay, but you don't want to break up no kind of happy home. So I'm not, Luka, he's going through, in his personal life, the situation. Luka has been going through it in terms of his personal life. You guessed correctly, man. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. We're gonna, because Chris, I mean, you're bringing the facts, so we will speak on St. Patrick's Day and how it went down, in the Commonwealth. For me personally, I will. We will discuss. We'll get that up there for this. We're gonna move to that. First, we're gonna start with Luka. But Chris, then I have to, because you mentioned it. You mentioned it. Then I'm going to. Then we're gonna discuss St. Patrick's Day. We got a couple things to get to in terms of St. Patrick's Day. I'm pulling it up right now, but it was going down for the DJ Crown. It's and then so the event that we have on the Cape that I'm going to show you in a second. We're going to get there in a second because you know what I mean. It's about 40 to 50,000 people, and I'm slightly ashamed. I'm not all the way. I'm slightly to say that this was my first year. This was my first year. I've known about it for a number of years. Obviously, it's a big deal, but this was my first year, and you're going to see it in a second. Attending. I'm going to stop. I'm what do they call that? A tease. We're going to get there. But this was my first year going. Had a blast. We're going to get those pictures for you on the screen. The Boston St. Patrick's Day, where some of our local people that have been doing the Cape Cod one, 500,000 people in Beantown. 500,000 people in Beantown for their event, which is the Boston event was this weekend, right? And then the Cape Cod was last weekend, which we'll be going over. But man, it's a good time. It's right. Again, all due respect here, I'm coming from the great state of New Jersey, so I love my people. All right, I'm clearly not Irish, but I put respect on people's names. I put respect on people's culture. Okay, and I love to have these opportunities to, take the cuisine in, learn the history, all of that type of stuff. Obviously, a lot of my dear friends are Irish Americans, so I just learn, enjoy, respect, all that good stuff. So, but it was jumping, right? So we're gonna, because it's halftime in the game, right, folks? It's halftime in the game, right? So what we're gonna do, folks, is we're gonna come over and we're gonna let's go around and see how's everybody doing. Everything is good. Hey, I see some people on IG. We got a young man that's going to play football at Springfield. That tuned in on the IG. Yes, I see you, young man. Our star quarterback. That's just coming off of a successful basketball season. Kyle, appreciate you tuning in. And we're going to shout out our local people. Introduce some of you guys. Kyle is one of our standouts. As I've said, in the senior class. So appreciate you checking in. And this young man is getting ready. Led our football team to the playoffs, our basketball team to the playoffs, and now he's locked in, getting himself ready to take his talents to Springfield College on the gridiron and a successful freshman season. So I know I like what I've been seeing from Flex Fridays. Our football program has been getting in there, getting the workouts in, get ready for next year. And I know that the seniors are of the same mindset, getting ready for their future success as they get ready. Right. We know a lot of the athletes, right? They'll go and they'll even play in some of those spring games, right? Because the spring game is a big deal in college, right? So our freshmen getting ready for college are already the mindset, even though they still got a lot to do in high school. We got a lot of great things coming for the end of the school year. That's going to be tremendous. But the mindset, right? You have that college mindset, even when you're walking through the high school hallways, right? And that's how you set yourself up for the future success. And we've had a lot of great, the Mickey Fines of the world, coaching at Harvard University, who took his talents to Maine to play for the Maine Bears. The Sean Fines of the world, his brother, director of player development for the LA Clippers, right? I remember those days that they had the college mentality when they were in high school, right? Also, Stephen Gomes took his talents to Maine. Clinton Brown took his talents to Maine, amongst others, amongst many of our athletes that shine bright. So I appreciate you checking in. Appreciate you checking in with me. And of course, if you got questions, comments, concerns, we know that SandCity, mi casa, su casa. So you let me know what it is, and we will get those things into the mix. It's halftime of the game. We're gonna come back to Luka, who's been going through it in his situation. But Luka, the Lakers, very dangerous, and we've talked about this. Very dangerous if they ever decide to get on the same page. We know, well, we don't know, but this is what I'm saying. The King is taking his talents to Golden State next year. Bill Simmons has already discussed this. For LeBron, okay, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But I see LeBron in Golden State next year. And I don't think he's just staying for 1 year. So let's just pump the brakes. LeBron, why would you leave? Why would you leave? Right? You're playing at a high level. So I think it's going to be 2 years in Golden State. That's me. I'm standing firm on that take. I don't think he goes to Cleveland. Cleveland's established. They already have, go to Golden State. And again, LeBron, he's a media mogul. He as well as, right, he's already Magic Johnson, billionaire, very savvy, should have stayed longer, frankly. He shouldn't have been pushed out of the game. We didn't know what we didn't know in those days, but Magic could have played 4 or 5 more years. Okay? We didn't understand the science then. Okay? But Magic, when his N.B.A. career ended, he took his talents to business, and Regal, owns the Dodger. He's a mogul. So LeBron is of a similar, cut from a similar cloth, but still playing, and still playing at a high level while having his media and, does a number of things, right? So that's why I feel Golden State makes more sense. Stay in the Golden State. Why, you know what I mean? Obviously, you don't have the media connections in Middle America. You got, great values. We don't have the media connections. Okay, so Lakers are starting to play together now. Very dangerous. If they get on the same page and just for a couple more months, they can do serious damage. But then next year, LeBron, Golden State, that's going to be something. And then we'll see who the Lakers bring in. So the game is at halftime. Chris, per usual, bringing the good energy. He asking about what St. Patrick's Day is like here in the Commonwealth. Certainly jumping. And we're going to get to some specifics. We're going to get to specifics. I appreciate the people that are taking time and checking in with me. Appreciate that very much. So let's get to some specifics on St. Patrick's Day. Let's get to, okay, I got one. Ba-boop. Yep, we got 2. If you want to talk St. Patrick's Day, ba-boop. And then 3. Yep. I got to get that one for the St. Patrick's Day. Ba-boop. Thank you so much. Close that out. Check my socials. Socials are good. Okay. Now let's come on over here and get the artwork so we can see. And then keep the commentary coming, folks. Sure enough, keep the commentary coming. But we're going to talk St. Patrick's Day for a bit before we dive into a number of other topics. Okay, that's one of our pieces of art for St. Patrick's Day. I got 3 different things to show to the people, and there's these little production delays. All right, that's what I was looking for. Let's get that up on the screen. SandCity by for the fans. And all right, let's talk St. Patrick's Day. Right, we're going to talk. Right. All right, I had to get out there and participate, folks. I had to get out there and participate St. Patrick's Day. That gentleman My 7th grade science teacher. When somebody's your teacher, even though I'm not a young warthog anymore, but you always, right? It's Mr. Marvin in my mind because that was my 7th grade science teacher. Name is Rich. I got to call him by his first name now because it's been many a moon since I was in 7th grade. I taught 7th grade a couple of years back. Good. And those students are now juniors, if you can believe it, are now juniors, and they're doing some big things on the basketball court, football field, in the classroom. Those students are doing big things, and I'm really proud to see it. But this is my 7th grade teacher, Rich Marvin. Yeah, man. So, Chris, man, we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna dive into that. Seattle and Vegas, I do think they're locks, and I think it's long overdue. I think it's long overdue, but I think both of those teams are locks to get franchises. We're gonna come back to that. So hold that thought. St. Patrick's Day, right? Your boy was turned up. Shout out to Miss Rich Marvin, our local Rotary organization. He coordinated Rotary local club being in the parade, which is the reason, I showed up based on that call to participate. I was towards the end. All right. I didn't walk the entire way as he and others did, but I appreciated him including me and being there and enjoying the festivities, which I most certainly did, which we're going to see. So that was great. Great part of it. Okay, so I got the 1, I got the 2. Let me go. We had a world champion boxer that was in attendance. 2 world champions, actually, local representative that were in attendance, and a current champion. But before we move over and the Lakers and the Rockets second half, y'all can't see me. What's going on? What's going on here? Going to come back to the Lakers and the Rockets. I'm talking about St. Patrick's Day. All right. I had to, folks was kind enough to, right? They had the horses out there going down the street. Guy says, you want to ride? You want to get on? No. I say, hey, man, I can't pass up this opportunity. I can't pass it up. So, got a chance to, I've seen No Country for Old Men, but I ain't going to get on no horse and go ride out into no sunset. By the way, speaking of All Day I Face, good straight line drive by Marcus Smart. Second half, Lakers and Rockets. All day I face the barren waste without a taste of water. Cool, clear water. Old Dan and I with throats drawn high and cares that. Shout out to the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Netflix original, Coen Brothers. We will be discussing the Oscars. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. If you're a Coen Brothers person, as I am, speaking of No Country for Old Men, speaking of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, speaking of Fargo, speaking of Intolerable Cruelty, on and on and on and on, hit after hit after hit after hit, which shows what's possible when familia can come together in unison. Shout out to the Coen Brothers. You got to see the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Kind of low key, but a Netflix original. It's on point. It's on point, along with the other classics. But anytime I, think about, Old Dan and I with throats grown high, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Check it out. Where are we going now? Okay, so we got to go to the situation with the Seattle and the NBA and the voting. There's no two ways about it. For me, I'm all Supersonics all the time. We've been needing the Supersonics for decades. Okay, this. Forget overdue. This is we talking about the Rain Man and the glove. My childhood, please. Now, what's going on? Because I had this. Because I got to get it. It was right there. See, I'm getting a little bit. No. I have it. It's right in front of me. I got this thing right in front of me, but I bypassed it. So we're gonna now move to the situation with N.B.A. expansion, and then we'll come back. What do we got here? Rockets up 6, 7, 8 points. Second half. This game is clearly going to come down to the wire. Two good teams in the Wild West. But let's okay, so let's got that. All right, we good. Let me see how we doing on our socials. Socials are good. Everybody good on the socials? SandCity, Mi Casa, Su Casa. Come on in. Holla at your boy. Let me just make sure things are good on the Twitter machine. Because I don't do it's Twitter. I don't do this X stuff. It's Twitter. All right, very good. Very good. The Twitter machine is where it's supposed to be. Excellent, excellent. Like to see that. All right, so let's discuss N.B.A. expansion. Let's get into this N.B.A. expansion conversation. Good. All right. And there's reasons the two teams up for consideration are the favorites. Nothing is a foregone conclusion in life, right? Right? It's not over until to that big woman, right? Isn't that what Yogi Berra says? Not over till it's over. Okay. Big women, small women, respect our women, right? Hold on. I didn't stop sharing. Okay, so little production snafu there. I thought I stopped sharing. Which is why we need an NBA franchise in Seattle, folks. Dennis Johnson, we know him in the Commonwealth. Dennis Johnson, DJ, brought prosperity to the Commonwealth. Did he not? Red Auerbach. Okay. You talk about Larry Bird when he discusses his teammates and his most reliable teammates. Okay, guys he could count on without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, sir. Without a shadow of a doubt. Talks about Dennis Johnson. Jack Sigma, come on now. Come on now. We did. Bringing out the old school greats. Curly Neal, less familiar, but respect on his name. This is what it boils down to. I just think. Right, Vancouver. That was that. We tried. We tried in Vancouver. Where's Bryant Big Country Reeves? Right, Damon Stoudemire. We tried in Vancouver. It wasn't. So they're in Memphis. Okay, Toronto is still Toronto. Okay, Montreal. All right, it's a thought. It's an idea. But no, thanks. No thanks on Montreal. It's Las Vegas and Seattle. Okay. The nostalgia, history, legacy, however you will, for Seattle is strong. Hasn't gone away. respect to what's been built up in Oklahoma City, championship organization in Middle America, right? Sam Presti playing chess out there to other people's checkers. Wonderful. Two things can be true. Can be proud of Seattle while still dedicated to the history, the legacy, and hopefully the reemergence of the Seattle Supersonics. In terms of Las Vegas, and there's a direct through line, having a franchise, I think we're going to be seeing Clutch Sports be very competitive in the bidding. Good point there. I'm going to say no. Right? And the Memphis Grizzlies, that has been a success. They're embedded. Okay? Been 10, 20 years since the team moved from Vancouver. You don't hear any rumblings about, the team not keeping up with the Joneses in terms of what's necessary to maintain an NBA franchise, which is, by the way, why the situation in Seattle became untenable in the first place. Unfortunately, David Stern, the NBA, said, look, NBA teams need NBA infrastructure. Right? This is a conversation that's taking place in other sports, in other states. Yes, I'm talking about you, Chicago Bears. Okay, professional teams need professional infrastructure. But as we go forward, is who's going to pay for this? And how's the money going to be broken down? And I'm completely supportive and understanding of states and cities that say, listen, the taxpayer needs some help, needs some relief. Okay? Love the idea of both those teams coming east, particularly the T-Wolves with Anthony Edwards. Okay? There's been an imbalance between the East and the West for some time. Occasionally, the East will field 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams, competitive teams. But the bottom feeders in the East are a lot of these teams. They're not even over 500, making the play-in or the playoffs. And the bottom half of the East is not comparable to the bottom half of the West. So taking an upper echelon Western Conference team and moving them to the East, okay, makes everybody step their game up. Okay, Anthony Edwards has been stymied the last 2 years in the Western Conference Finals. Wasn't the favorites last year against Oklahoma City, but I felt the Timberwolves were better than the Mavericks in 24. And I felt the Mavericks just out-schemed them with Jason Kidd, his strategy of we're just going to, we're going to outscore you. Even though pound for pound, you talk about Ant-Man, Cat, Gobert, McDaniels, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid. I believe they had Mike Conley. Right? T-Wolves mad dogged the Nuggets and ended there. It was supposed to be Nuggets and Celtics. Luka and LeBron running together. Lakers down 5. Amazing what can happen. Put the egos aside and just hoop for a couple more months. Everybody is... That wasn't too bad of a foul. Yeah. Reed, you didn't get in defensive guarding position. You didn't get in legal guarding position. You bumped him. Good effort, but no. All right, so the Grizzlies are rebuilding. I have confidence in their organization. You know, that they drafted and developed. They had their opportunity with Ja and Bane. Ja wasn't ready for prime time. Wasn't ready to leave his Rumspringer, you know, back in his youthful years. Wasn't ready to grow up. All right, but they had their young core: Ja, Bane, Jaren Jackson. Had Steven Adams, who I love, man in the front court. Not, obviously Ja and Bane are guards, and Gasol and Zebo were bigs, but just this gritty, hard nosed, defensive minded, team. But they got, it was too much smoke and mirrors. It was too much pomp and circumstance, and then it was too much just off the court wildness. Okay, but if Ja tones it down a notch, right, the Grizzlies are still competing in an exceedingly competitive Western Conference. He didn't want to do that, and so now they're starting from scratch. But that doesn't, if they did it once, they can do it again. Drafting and developing. So Memphis can be a team. I like that. But the T-Wolves right at the top of the conference, and then Memphis is a team that can keep folks honest, right? Additionally, on this idea of expansion, some for the league, and I'm hearing talk. Look, folks, I want to be clear. NBA season is 82 games. That's non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable, right? Baseball, 162 games. NFL's going to 18 games, inevitable. Okay. 18 games, 2 preseason games. Okay. But there's no games that's coming off of the calendar in the NBA, and the season is not too long. And I don't care about the constant dopamine that the society is driven by with the smartphones and the flickering images and the metaverse and all the rest of this nonsense. Okay. It's an 82-game season. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It's been 82. It's going to remain 82. So this idea the season's too long, what are we doing? Right? 82, that's the number. Baseball was 154, then it moved to 162. That's the number. NFL 16 to 18, that's the number. The season needs to be shorter. I don't even at times know how to even speak to that question as a lifelong Hoops fan. For what reason? You can't have a dream. You can't work a dream job. All of a sudden, dream jobs are too cumbersome for people. Never mind this AI robotic revolution, Flintstone, Jetsons, George Jefferson, the Jetson world that we're going into. I confused my awesome 80s programs right there. What are we even talking about? You fly on luxury private jets across the country. Luxury private jets. You have double-digit coaches on your staff. That is not normal. That's the new wave. But old school, awesome 80s, 90s, we're talking about in the awesome 80s. Shout out to Bob Ryan. Shout out to the Hingham Hammer. Shout out to Scribe, amongst his other books. Read it. Educate yourself. Bob Ryan's like Red Auerbach telling him you need 3 people on your staff. Coach and 2 assistants. You're good. That was the coaching staffs. You got 1 head coach and 2 assistants. Maybe 3. If we're getting, exorbitant. But that was the brain trust. Okay, the theory has changed. You go, NFL, 3 yards in a cloud of dust out there playing in, sub-zero temperatures, guys not wearing gloves, it's a man sport, show how tough we are. And those guys were, I get freezing cold every time I see Dick Buckus sitting in his Chicago Bears uniform on a sideline, hands all swollen up. Talk to my old man about it. In the 70s, cold, they would not let you wear gloves. No football. I don't know, different people. Some people can just be out there in the cold, like my hands get cold just watching the Patriots games in the winter. I get cold. Forget about it. No way I could play a football game in the cold weather without gloves. Obviously, I could, but my hands would be messed up. And that's why I stopped playing football, actually. Those cold weather games used to mess me up. Feet get cold, hands get cold. Forget about it. Never mind, I wasn't the biggest guy anyway out there just getting rocked. What is this conversation? What does this have to do with the modern N.B.A. and the expansion 82 games? Okay? You got 2 or 3 coaches per player. Let's get some shots up. Let's watch some film. What technique do you need to work on? What's your diet? What's your exercise habit? How many calories? How many this? How many that? A small battalion, a company of coaches dedicated to each individual player and making sure they maximize their potential if they want to. And you're going to tell me they can't show up to work and put forth effort? Okay, stop it. 82 is 82. It's staying that way. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And added to that, the reason I'm looking forward to this expansion is it's the real deal to get into the N.B.A. Okay, shout out to Drazen Petrovic, the late great. Go ahead and check out Once Brothers 30 for 30 gold. Check it out. Do yourself a favor. Once Brothers 30 for 30 gold. Okay, Petro for 3. Got it. Okay, talk about one of the greatest of all time. Nikola Jokic is the modern day Arvydas Sabonis. I've said it before. I will say it again. The modern day. We get a chance to see what Sabonis would have been like coming over when he in the 80s. Cold War in his prime. We see it now with Jokic dominating the league. Giannis, obviously. Luka. Point of fact, can we get some more spots for these deserving ball players? Got a couple here from New England that need to be in the league. Cole Swider, the pride of St. Andrews Prep School and the Villanova Wildcats, and finished at Syracuse. He's an NBA player. There's no two ways about it. Okay? There's only so many spots. You got a lot of talented guys that can't get into the league because they're competing against players from all over the world. It is a global game. Africa, Europe, Asia, South America. So the talent level has just, right? Talk about N.B.A. Top 2 picks in the N.B.A. draft are from France. So yes, expansion is going to be a good thing to allow some more talent to get into the league. Right, as the talent pool continues to grow. All right, so Seattle and then as we move back, LeBron in transition, fouled, right? Straight line drive. Looks like we got a tie game here, folks. Looks like we're knotted at 72. LeBron is still on KV, directly to the cup, not changing my angle. You are going to foul me. All right, see the Lakers over here pushing the Rockets. Second best team in the West to OKC. Third best team in the West to OKC and San Antonio. Built to win it this year. That don't even have Van Fleet, crucial part of their team. Yeah, Lakers right there with them because the same thing as I said with the Timberwolves being better than the Mavericks in 24, but Jason Kidd just scheming it up and saying, you have to stop Luka and Kyrie. I don't care how tall you guys are. We're running 5 out. We're pulling those bigs out. We're cooking the one big, getting into the paint, starting the blender, skipping it, and knocking down threes. We're going to execute this 5-out offense. Period. End of story. All right. So the more, right, obviously efficient team is going to beat a more talented team. But you put LeBron and Luka together, locked in, playing team ball, not wasting possessions with my turn, your turn foolishness. I mean, yeah. I've said it. I'll say it again. They push any of these top teams, including OKC, with or without injuries. And the young Lions. And by the way, folks, we can go ahead and get the receipts. SandCity Sports has been on San Antonio Spurs from day one. All right, now people talking about, okay, SandCity's been on San Antonio. All right, and what's been built up. However, they ended up getting all these top picks in successive years. But Wemby, obviously the unicorn. Dylan Harper, future star. Stephon Castle, emerging star. And De'Aaron Fox, all right, veteran star. They're loaded. Character guys, talented guys. Obviously, the culture is ironclad. They have additional players from the previous, that can play. So the Spurs are, it happened fast, but okay, you draft, you get top draft picks that are hoopers. In Castle, coming from the UConn tradition. Dylan Harper, pride of New Jersey, son of Ron. People don't remember or recognize. I did forget Carter Bryant, right, who is a 5-star talent. Spurs are it's ridiculous. That's crazy that I forgot Carter Bryant, who reminds me of Iguodala. Just a Swiss Army knife of a player. I don't agree with the second apron ridiculousness, that's forcing teams like this to break up. I mean, we'll see. I mean, the N.B.A. is bananas. But the talent that I just laid out for you, Wemby inside, outside, De'Aaron Fox inside, outside, Castle, Harper, all these players, explosive, dynamic, and they have a bench around them. It's they look, and again, you can't be dynastic until you win something. I don't want the second apron to affect these teams. I want these teams to stay together, right? Right. You had Steph, you had Clay, you had Barnes, you had Draymond, right? You had Bogut or whoever. Then you had Sean Livingston. You have Iguodala, right? Those teams are 7, 8, 9 deep, and nobody had a problem with it. Nobody had a problem with teams being 8, 9, 10 deep at times. LeBron's teams in Cleveland, people, were loaded. They didn't have his friends, but you got Shaq, you got Ilgauskas, you got Anderson Varejao, you got Antoine Jameson, right? Mo Williams, Boobie Gibson, Delonte West before he went loony. Right, those teams they were 9, 10 deep, which is why they had the best record in the East 2 years in a row. 2 of which years they didn't break through to play Kobe Bryant in the finals that we wanted to see. So there was nothing wrong with that then. There's nothing wrong with it now. Spurs, OKC, healthy. Houston, with all their top draft picks that are panning out, and then Durant's leadership. Right, those 3 teams are just strength on strength. You can put Denver in that category. with Cam Johnson to go along with Aaron Gordon, to go along with Jamal Murray, of course, to go along with Joker. They're bringing Ilgauskas. They bring back Bruce Bowen, who shouldn't have left in the first place. Mike Malone was against it, got overruled, and they brought back the player that he wanted after they fired him. Reed Shepherd with the nice straight line dunk. Lakers up 2 heading into the fourth. Okay, final point that bring that slide down. So Vegas, yes, and look out for LeBron James, his ownership group to be in the mix for that. Yeah. LeBron is looking to own a team. And if it's not going to be the Cavs, right? I think Vegas makes a lot of sense. So he's got a couple years left. Nobody wants to see him go anyway. So go ahead and stay. But Clutch Sports, being a part of the group to put in a bid for the Las Vegas, I don't know, got the Aces, I don't know. Interesting. What's the name going to be in Vegas? Who knows? Right. That's something else. Adam Silver, just like David Stern. All right. Obviously, we need owners that are going to have a cachet and connect with people, but you need owners that represent the league. Right? How many owners of color do you have in the N.B.A., if any? No, the Sacramento Kings owner, Indian American. Right? So Adam Silver is no fool. I think he can see that. Bring in Vegas. Let LeBron keep playing. Let his people run but that'll be LeBron's team when he decides to retire, or still be very much involved. There's another all-time great with a stake in an organization there in Las Vegas, even though their team is moving the wrong direction, but doesn't hurt having Tom Brady on the staff. All right. And so, yes, Vegas, Seattle, it's going down for the DJ crown. Okay, we're leaving the third. We are heading into the fourth. We're going to stay in the association, folks. We're going to stay in the association. And we're going to stay in the West, actually, as this game heads into the fourth quarter. Did he, what's going on? I saw something that it's been like 20 some odd years. I had to, since the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill came out. You know what I mean? Where she stacked all them Grammys. Right? It's funny how money changed the situation. Miscommunication lead to complications. My emancipation don't fit your equation. I was on the humble, you on every stage. Someone play young Lauren like she dumb. Tarnish my image in a conversation. What? That Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. What? Classic. It's been many a blue moons, but educate yourself, young people. But of course, in that Miseducation, where she stacked up Grammys, there's the song about, her child, Zion. Well, I don't know if Mr. Williamson has gone back and had Lauryn Hill in his headphones. He needs to. Because that woo, that Lost Ones, that second track, entire album. Shout out to Lauryn Hill. Oh my goodness. But Zion is over here. This man over here hooping. This man is over here hooping, folks. And putting in the work. Now, honestly, you got Zion. I'm a Derek Queen guy, right? I maybe he stays. I thought his time was done with New Orleans. I thought they were gonna move Park, because it's just been an odd saga. It's been strange. It's been bizarre. Is what like I don't understand why he has been held back. I honestly don't. Does he have a degenerative condition like a Brandon Roy, like a Michael Porter Jr.? Right, Brandon Roy took the league by storm. Those 6 years, had to retire. Because it was bone on bone. His knees, he had a degenerative knee condition. He couldn't do anything about it. We know the situation with Greg Oden. Michael Porter Jr. sat out in Missouri, comes into the league, has the back issues, had to sit out his first couple of years, but then he's been relatively healthy since then. With Zion Williams, he's a husky dude. He's been husky. He was 280 at Duke. Is he the first undersized power forward that is big? Obviously not. We all know. We see him. We're privileged to. He's still a part of the game. One Mr. Charles Barkley, who comes and visits the Cape every so often. Beautiful thing. Local yokel. He's out here on the Cape just chilling with the local people. Good dude. Like Adam Sandler. Good, out in just the local establishments chilling. No problems, no nothing. Right? But yeah, Charles Barkley come into the league, at times over 300 pounds. He talks about Moses Malone, got through to him, and he finally got committed to his program, cut the weight, and that was the dominance that we saw in the mid-'80s into the 90s. The dominance, but he had to commit, get himself in better shape, and then he took off. So I'm unsure. Zion's been in the league, it feels like close to 10 years. If it's just his weight that he's been inconsistent all these years. Like, honestly, if it was just the weight, then I would, all these games he's missed, and I think it's a little bit different than Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons, I just think has been healthy and just he ain't wanted to play. And I don't know why teams kept throwing money at somebody that had no interest in playing basketball. We have an individual that's similar. I'm right in college right now as we go into the tournament. We will get there. We got another young man from the City of Champions. That's Brockton, Massachusetts, the home of the Rock, the home of marvelous Marvin Hagley. Yes, Brockton, the Boxers. And we got AJ DeBanza out there, giving it to him every night. Ain't taking no nights off. That's City of Champions right there, folks. Making the Commonwealth proud. He ain't taking no nights off. You getting the smoke every night. Ain't ducking nothing. Needs to be the number 1 overall pick. Cam Boozer as well is in that conversation very much. So the Peterson kid, I'm out. I'm out on him. He go top 5, whatever. He's giving me Ace Bailey vibes. He giving me inconsistent vibes. No. And this young man, Darius Acuff, down playing for Coach Cal. Woo! Woo! Is that next Maxi? Is that next Gilgeous Alexander? What? Is that next De'Aaron? What? Hero, Murray, name them. Coach Cal, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No college coach develops the pros like Coach Cal. And his 1 year finishing school is second to none, up and including Coach K. I said what I said. Coach K got into the one and done game. Okay, we got the Kyries of the world. Okay, but you got the Kyries, you got the Tatums. Yeah, we coming to the draft. We're gonna get to the draft. But for me, it's AJ, it's Cameron Boozer, and it's this Acuff kid. Darren Peterson, all this back and forth. Yeah. Okay. You fool me once, shame on me. Lord, excuse me. You fool me once, shame on you. You fool me twice, that's a shame on your boy. A shame on your boy. No. Cam Boozer been, you know what I mean? This is one of these, you know what I mean? Why do we like the people that don't like us? Why? Why do we put the extra effort when people ain't not rocking with us? Why do we do this in life? What's going on? When the people, instead of being appreciative of the people that's rocking with you. Right? So I feel about this Darren Peterson situation. This man is getting extra attention for doing what he's not supposed to do, rather than us putting more respect on young man from the City of Champions and Mr. Cam Boozer and some others out there. The young man from Tennessee playing for Rick Barnes. What? These young men has been grinding every day, getting better, and we spending all this time talking about Darren Peterson, who doesn't want to show up to work? In his feelings? What? It's crazy. Now, for Darren Peterson, yeah, I said what I said. I got to know, Chris, you're a Darren Peterson guy. We're gonna come back to this conversation. If he's your guy, he's your guy. He's not my guy. But if he's your guy, you have a right. It's fine. Like, this is, SandCity. We team Tibbs all day, every way. Okay? Team Tibbs around here. 4-star general. Crazy that he should still, I'm not getting over it. I got no problem with Mike Brown. It's not about Mike Brown. It's about Tom Tibbs being an elite coach. I said what I said. Right? Crazy. This draft class is bananas. 96 vibes all day. All day. But all these guys, Fleming's from Houston playing for Kelvin Sampson. Right? Wilson, unfortunate, playing for Hubie Davis down in Carolina. These guys have been grinding all year. And Darren Peterson in this incredibly talented class is acting as if who, you know what I mean? I'm done. Yeah, if you're a Peterson person, you have a right. It is what it is. But I'm just, no. That kid from, right, Wilmington, North Carolina, are you kidding me? The hunger. Yes, Michael Jordan was he wasn't always, because he had to play JV as a sophomore. Okay, then he had the growth sport. He had the mango season. Michael Jordan, his brothers are like 5'9", 5'10", super competitive, right? He doesn't come from tall people. It's just he was the exception. He's 6'6", with the fierce competitiveness and explosiveness. All right? But those two things combined, that's how you get. Michael Jordan is incredibly gifted and incredibly competitive. This kid Peterson may be gifted. Fine, I'll give you that. He's in the red. He's in the negatives with competitiveness, and we're putting him. Okay, respect on that. Okay, we'll come back to this. He's not my cup of tea, but for those that he is, what I see from him, you know what I mean. When he wants to, you see flashes. When he wants to, fine. I ain't on that when you feel like doing. I ain't, you know what I mean. If you got the gift, you got to grind, man. You got to grind. Right? You want to be We'll get to that. We'll get to that. When we move over to slice of life, we're gonna get to that. But yeah, Zion is out here hooping, folks. Zion. He's hooping. Right? Consistent. I think he can rebound a little bit more. But he's getting it done. And when he's played, like, he always puts up 20, double digit number. He score, and he doesn't take a lot of shots to score. His power game has always produced numbers. It's just for whatever reason he's not played. I mean, like David Griffin, that's something we need. We need a 30 for 30 on that. What was the holding him back in this load management ridiculousness? It just seems to me like Zion finally decided to just get serious about his conditioning. Look at him; he looks okay. Well, I don't know if he's vegan or whatever, eating clean, whatever the case may be. Hydrating, just good habits. It's not like you have to. I mean, obviously, you have a dedicated staff. You have people to cook you nutritious, delicious food. You don't got to be at Wendy's with the common folks. I don't understand it. You have people. Again, this is one of these things. Reminds me like when I first was getting my license and I was driving around with my buddy and I was like, oh my God, you have a car. Like, and there was like a little bit like whatever, like one thing wasn't right. And I was like, how could you not have everything perfect when you have a car? And he's like, you know something, you'll see. And I do see, right? Because now that I have a car, you don't even want to, there's trash all over the place sometimes. Okay. Got to clean it. Yeah, you know what I mean? But you have it and then you get busy and you just forget what a luxury it is to have these things. Yeah, this A-Cuff kid. And that's why I'm rocking, with Stephen A in terms of what he was saying about I need to see it in the tournament from these guys. I need to see it. It doesn't. No. It matters. Okay, we remember that kid from Davidson, who nobody wanted, who was undrafted. Excuse me, who was unranked. That Wardell from Davidson. Okay, took Kansas to the limits. Right, took Kansas to the brink in the Elite Eight. That Wardell Curry, that Wardell Stephen Curry. Remember that kid from Marquette, from Chicago roots? That 36-point triple-double that he had in the tournament? Right? So we need to see it. High leverage, high intensity games. Okay? And on that point, as we shift gears, fourth quarter, 8 remaining. Lakers up 2. Driving kick. That's a travel. These are travels, by the way. A couple things. It's a travel. It needs to be continuous. These guys are just stopping. No. It's too. We call it continuous motion for a reason. You need to continue. Like N.B.A. Like we have these because you give an inch and people want to take that mile, right? Yes, it's about entertainment, and so they don't call all the travels. They don't call. So what do these guys do? They travel. They get ridiculous with the travels, taking 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. No, that's not basketball. Right. It's an entertainment product, and I understand all of that. All right. Again, for football. So what? It's close to the first down. So we should just give them the first down because people want to see offense. Even though it's 4th and inches, let's just give them the first down because people want to see offense. We don't actually need to have a 4th and inches. No. It's 4th and inches. Okay. So N.B.A., this guy's just stopping, just like absolutely. No, that's a travel. I don't care who did it on what mixtape to make it look cool. It's a travel. Also, I'm glad to see these referees don't have the microphones on their because I know what the heck was going on with that. Right? I don't know if you guys did, but I didn't know what the heck was going on. Shout out to Zion. Who's doing his thing. This game is coming down the stretch. Marcus Smart. Air ball. Okay, so let's head over, right? We got the game on. We're gonna keep following. Let's head on over to the NCAA tournament, see how you guys are feeling. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's talk NCAA tournament right now. Let's ducks in a row. Art coming momentarily, get our artwork straightened out. I was happy for Kelvin Sampson last year. I picked Houston. Duke was the best team in the tournament. We see that Khan and Cooper are neck and neck for Rookie of the Year. Duke was a better team than Houston. They had that game in hand, and then what happened? Houston came back on them. Right? Duke was a better team. Houston came back, and Duke, they buckled. They didn't have good possessions down the stretch. They got nervous because they had a lot of freshmen. But in a 7-game series or a 5-game series, they trounced Houston. This year's Duke team is not as talented. Don't think that's debatable. But John Shire knows his business. Correct? Man knows his business. I was telling I was at service on Sunday, and I was telling friend, gentleman, how Coach K got to West Point, which let's talk about the tournament first, and then we can talk about some throwback stories. Okay. Right, Michigan. And by the way, shout out to the Wolverines. I'm glad they're back in the mix. Coaching change. So for me, it's always going to be St. Anthony's and the Hurleys, top of my list. You guys know that. All right. St. Anthony's Friars. Danny holding it down. Bobby looking for his next destination. Okay. City of Champions, AJ DeBanza. I want to see him do well, make a run. Even though he's playing for a team out in the Southwest. What, right? I rock with John Shire from the standpoint, we've talked about how I have no time for these coaches singing the blues about NIL. I'm done. I'm done with it. Okay. You coaches are $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year for what? How many games in the season? Maybe 40. So you make more than a number of N.B.A. coaches for half the games, at least. With, in certain instances, far less scrutiny, right? You can have 1 bad year, 2 bad years, 3 bad years. You have these universities hostage in a number of these situations. And yet you're complaining because of the fact you have to now treat your labor force as partners, to use the term, the NBA term. The players are our partners. You're so used to that hierarchy and that embedded leverage that you've had for all these years. Pitino's got pressure on him. Right? There can't be any. He needs to make the Sweet 16. Right? Had the marquee matchup last year. I'm a Pitino guy. He's made mistakes. All right. He built himself back up from those mistakes. He turned Iona into something, from nothing to something. He's turned St. John's from very little to a contender. He understands the landscape. He's got the support, Rapoli, so he can go out there and put his AAU team together, his every year all-star team together, and then get through to those guys to play, winning basketball. It's nuts. This is like sports musical chairs. I'm here for maybe 6 months if you include the summer program, and I'm out. Right? So that's probably not good. Let me rephrase that. That's not good for anybody. Most importantly, the college basketball, the college sports system. It's not good. It is good that these players are being compensated. It's not good that there's not oversight and attention to how these funds are being utilized. Why these guys are playing a 50% commission on some of these NIL, when in the N.B.A. it's like a 3 to 5% commission. Right? In these professional leagues, these agents, they get, I think 5 might be on the super high end. Like you got to be Scott Boras to maybe get 5%. There's reports some of these NIL agents are getting 50%. That's not highway robbery. You done robbed Fort Knox. Never mind, you're dealing with, teenagers. Okay? So the system is fundamentally broken. We put on the laundry, we activate the nostalgia and just go forward. But on a number of levels, let's get to Rick Pitino. He's got to make the Sweet 16 and, no favors. They mollywop UConn, great. But waiting for them in the Sweet 16 is going to be Duke, UConn, fine. Pitino has to get to the Sweet 16. And last year, it was what it was. They gave the selection committee. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. They gave the people what we wanted to see. We got St. John's, Arkansas, in Providence, where Pitino formerly coached, right here, 2 hours or whatnot from the Big Apple. Bring back Calipari to essentially the Commonwealth. I know Rhode Island's not the Commonwealth, but you know what I mean. All right. And we got what we wanted. The 2 coaches, all the talent, DeJuan Wagner Jr. and all of his guys. It was it. All right. And Cal, well, people, he doesn't coach, he doesn't make adjustments. They just won the game. Flat out won the game. And he was up big in his further games. Would like to see Cal make a run at, I rock with Cal. Okay? People, right? You see how it's coming back around. Cal was NIL in the mid-90s. Cal's been NIL. Been NIL for 30 years. And these players have been getting paid, by the way. Don't act like Cal was the only one breaking bread. No. And Syracuse is in they're two, right? You're talking about the Carnesecca tradition and the Boeheim tradition. And, he's an original Big Easter as well, coaching at Providence. By the way, check out Requiem for the Big East, 30 for 30 gold. Enlightened me. I wasn't aware the Big East had its roots here in New England, right at Providence. I went to their referee camp. You can see, by the way, move to improve. You see my move to improve? Shout out to Providence College, Mike Stevens, now an assigner. Many years, considered the best ref in college basketball based on the fact that he refereed the finals for like 5 years in a row, 4 or 5 years. So there's move to improve. Some great years and great times. I love refereeing. It's a privilege. I'm glad to do it. When you're talking about the big time guys, and there's some clips. I don't know if I'll be able to get to them in Slice of Life. It's crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. Let me just bag. It's not crazy. It's a great job, but you got to hustle. You got to work. And a lot of guys, we got people getting the refereeing. You have regular jobs. The guys that move up, you have to change careers. You have to modify. It's because you're moving. You're on the road. You're making money. You're going to make bank. But you're gonna have to live that nomadic lifestyle to make that bank. So everybody, I could referee that game. I could referee that. Are you willing to go halfway across the country, crisscross the country, be away from your family, right? Much as referees and we complain about this, that, and the third. You're not willing to do a lot of times what it takes to get into to the bright lights. This is honest. Okay. So these guys that make it there, they're talented, yes, very talented, but they're also extremely dedicated. Okay, so back to your question about the reason I don't see it happening is because Pitino's a New Yorker. You know what I mean? He's a native so I think St. John's makes more sense for him just aesthetically than Syracuse. I don't think he wants to be in the boonies in upstate New York, right? I think he's a native, deep New NYC. That's right up his alley. Coach the Knicks. So for those reasons, if it was between Iona, obviously Iona, you know what I mean? If it was another, if he was at, Louisville and it wasn't going well in the Syracuse, then I think he would take Syracuse over Louisville. But he's not taking Syracuse over St. John's. St. John's is a dream job for Pitino. He's New York through and through. Never mind, how things happen. This is almost right. He had been counted out. He was, supposed to ride off into the sunset or be pushed off into the sunset, thrown. Oh, Luka to LeBron. LeBron, the extra pass. Woo! Lakers up 4, folks. What's good? What's goody? Luka to LeBron. LeBron skips it over to Marcus Smart. What's goody, folks? You see when they pull together? Pushing this Houston Rockets team around. We'll see. Houston at home. N.B.A. You need to do something. So yeah. So Pitino, he's home, and he needs and that's he does need to make it to the Sweet 16. If he doesn't make it to the Sweet 16, does that mean that Mike Rapoli and St. John's are going to blow this situation up? No. Right? If it's not broke, what are we fixing? Right? St. John's was an afterthought. St. John's was, a nostalgia piece. Right? You talked about St. John's in from the standpoint of yesteryear. Case in point, you wasn't putting no respect on St. John's name. You weren't putting no respect on St. John's name. Right? But now you are. You put respect on the name. For sure. Okay, so I know a lot of times we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and what we don't get all that information. for himself and Patino, they need to show well. Okay, because last year, I know a good team had to go home. That good team just happened to be St. John's. So this year, when you got two, it needs to be another team, and St. John's needs to get. He needs a Sweet 16. Does he need a Final Four? I don't think so. Okay, it's not going to help him if in the rematch against UConn or when he's faced, against Duke, that he's not competitive. Okay, but them, and I'm not sure. I believe they're going to play Duke if they advance. Okay, marquee game, Shire, Patino, two different conferences, two different styles. You lose to Duke by, less than double digits. You've had a good season. That's a good, Yes, we want to beat Duke and we want to make a Final Four, but that's progress. They haven't been, they're a good team. Josan Sanan, Pride of Fall River, Massachusetts. Right, trains with the New Bedford guys where I work. It's been a good opportunity for him. All right. So to the point, and I'm borrowing this take from Stephen A. Smith. Okay. Right now is it's time to get it. But I'm gonna preface that with saying it's time to get it and raise your draft status and show and prove. It's time right now. AJ DeBansa, Cameron Boozer, Acuff, though they're woo, Lebron. This thing got out of control, man. Lakers up 10, under a minute. What are we doing? Okay, we're gonna come back. All right, well let's come back to these college kids. They're not going nowhere. We're gonna come back to the college kids. They're not going nowhere. We're gonna revisit our college boys. They in the mix. And college boys is in the mix. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where we at? It's taking me a while, but we're gonna find it though. It's here. It's not the art that I needed. Let's come back up. Okay. No, I gotta go and hunt down some. Had to go and get it. Let's go ahead and not that different from these college kids. We're talking about these guys getting along for, what is it, March? 3 more months, max? No yawning on SandCity Sports. Getting along for 3 more months, max, for the chance to win a championship. Take down the Rockets tonight on the road. Rockets supposed to be the heir apparent to Oklahoma City and San Antonio. All right, you can take this L and keep it moving. Right. Obviously, you got KD, who's the alpha. Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, ascending, Sangoon. Okay, All-Star, Reed Shepard. Right, Young Lion. Worker bees, defenders around them. Rant Van Fleet, on the mend. Okay. But you start talking about LeBron and Luka working together, just like Luka and Kyrie work together, and all the pieces around them. Reeves, Dalton, Marcus, Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, This team can be right there in the mix. They can be right there in the mix if they want to. You understand? Or they can just, continue to, subliminals and this and that and the third and going back and forth, and it is what it is. All right. Just going around and checking the socials, seeing how everybody's doing out there. Good win for the Lake Show. Just double check. Double check my snackaroos over here. Maybe is this putting the West on notice? It's one game, no notice served. But it is clear evidence, right? Y'all still in the building? Good. I don't know what to tell you. The Lakers, they're a dark horse. Right? And it's not the talent, it's the togetherness. And we'll monitor. The Lakers go into the playoffs, with just a nothing to lose attitude. It's going to get interesting. Okay? It's the type of team that could send home one of these upper echelon teams. When I say upper echelon, yes, I'm talking about OKC, San Antonio, Denver, and Houston. Right? That's what I see the Final Four in the West being. All right, but the Lakers have a nothing to lose team first, all for one for all attitude. Same thing with the Minnesotas of the world. You might even throw a Phoenix of the world in there. All right, they can send one of these top teams packing. What's going on? What's going on? I appreciate everybody. Appreciate my Facebook people. We're gonna log off on the Facebook, but I appreciate you rocking with your boy. Holla at me. Let me know. We're gonna see you next time. Peace. That's just that platform. They're at the best of the rest. We're gonna keep on moving and grooving. scale it down, but keep on rocking. Keep on rocking with you. All right, we're going to head back to NCAA. We want to give that shout out to the Lakers. And then we'll head over. We're going to just conclude on the NCAA, give some takes. It is a You Can't Hurt Me Monday. So we will touch on that. Let's get the art lined up. And come on back to it. Couple So long story, not so long for me. I'm rocking with the Huskies. Rocking with the Blue Devils. Rocking with the Houston Cougars. Excuse me. Yes, Houston, but also I want to see AJ DeBanza and BYU ball out and have a good showing. Those are my teams. UConn, Duke. I was with Houston last year, so I'll put BYU above them, and then Houston. It's good to see Avaka back, Avaka Zubac, getting back out there for the Pacers, who are trying to lose as many games as possible to get into this draft sweepstakes. Zona, Koa Pete, who's going to be a part of this ridiculous draft class. Okay. I mean, A-Cuff with the, this, maybe one of these, I don't even know if, Zonas can't be a dark horse in the number 1 seed, right? So, yeah, it's that first Thursday, man. That first Thursday's, I don't think it's better than that. The first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, that first Thursday and Friday. I mean, it's just a sports extravaganza. I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. See if Warren Buffett is giving away $1 billion for the perfect bracket. See if Warren wants to be generous and give away that $1 billion. But we're gonna stay on this clearly as the week goes on here on SandCity Sports. Let me just go across. Let me see. We rocking and rolling. It's good. Good to be back. Good to be back doing what you love to do. Okay. And so, yeah, we reached that time. It's about that time now. We're going to get into our Slice of Life segment. Going to get into Slice of Life. Hold on. We're not doing Slice of Life. I apologize. We're not doing Slice of Life. We got one more segment. We got a segment before we get to Slice of Life. We have days for every day of the week, folks. It's a You Can't Hurt Me Monday. It's a You Can't Hurt Me Monday. On SandCity. You Can't Hurt Me Mondays. Tyler Durden Tuesdays. Herbie Derby. My grandfather, the late great Herbie Derby. Wednesdays. That's when I lift up my family and my greats. And I know you guys got people like that as well. Goodwill Hunting Thursdays. Forget About It Fridays. Hey, I don't have a name for Saturday just yet. I still don't have Saturday named. And then we got Sanctified Sundays. So yes, sir, it is a You Can't Hurt Me Monday. So let's go ahead, folks. We're gonna talk about the man, Mr. Goggins. Yes, sir. We're gonna get the art up here for the people to see. And if y'all, you know what I mean? It's a You Can't Hurt Me Monday, folks. It's a You Can't Hurt Me Monday. Get it. Where's our artwork at? Let's get this artwork up on the screen and let's dive into this. When we talk about, you heard me? Y'all thought we was done? We just getting started over here. You Can't Hurt Me Mondays. There you go, Mr. Goggins. Shout out to David Simon. Shout out to The Wire, arguably the greatest show of all time. We cite our sources. This is coming from The Wire, season 3, that Amsterdam. And we just getting started. Okay, folks. You Can't Hurt Me Mondays, David Goggins. A couple things we've referenced before. I always go back to this. Win the morning, win the day. Yes, as y'all know, I work in education, so I will be up early getting after it tomorrow. This is the time that I have for my passion project. This is when I do it. It is what it is. But I'm not. Some of these people, you know, they morning people and lights out, whatever. They're up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 5. You know, I'm not the. You know, that's not my way of doing things, as you can see. But certainly that if you can just battle through, if you're not a morning person like me, and just get through those initial doldrums, those initial challenges, it just, right? That's the one thing I always come back to with David Goggins. The other thing is, hey, we just got to show up every day to fix our lives. We got to show up every day and do our best to fix our lives. You know, that's another one of his quotes. Do it tired. Do it broke. Do it rich. Do it scared. Do it confident. Just get it done. Just get it done, right? Don't let none of the challenging factors, whatever you're going through, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever you're going through. He said, hey, maybe you're lonely. Maybe you're tired. Maybe whatever. Financial, relational, whatever it is. Show up every day and fix your life. Get the help that you need. We all need help. You know what I mean? Lean on the faith. Okay? Lean on positivity. Lean on those connections. Okay? Show up and get it done. You can do it. Yes, sir. You Can't Hurt Me Mondays. Shout out to David Goggins. All right? Let's keep after it. Let's keep after it and get it. Get the help. Once we got the help, forward march. Let's take it down. Aye, aye. Aye, aye, Captain. You Can't Hurt Me Monday. Shout out to David Goggins. Appreciate your example. And hey, you know what I mean? It is what, you know, be in that arena. You know what I mean? Keep after it. Don't worry about the critics. Okay, they can stay on the sidelines. They can stay there. All right. We're gonna keep pressing forward and battling and getting things done. You Can't Hurt Me Monday. Shout out to David Goggins. All right, now let's get into our slice of life. let's get into the slice of life in terms of what's going on out there in the world. Right? There's a through line here. We discussed this. So we get into slice of life winding down. Right? Winding down. Okay, yeah, man.
Talking to him because we were together for a while and we wanted to build something that would lead to a championship or having a finals appearance. So just to catch up with him and see where he is in his career, I'm happy for him that he's healthy and he's on the basketball floor doing what he loves. So it's always good catching up with old teammates, and especially him. He's a generational talent. Ain't nobody can do what Zion does on the basketball floor. And I pray for the rest of his career that he can be healthy and have a clear mind. It was good talking to him because we.
Yes, sir. B.I. who's balling in Toronto. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see B.I. balling out. I didn't see Toronto with 18 small forwards being as good as they are. Hey, I was wrong. You're wrong. You're right. You're right. You're wrong. You're wrong. But shout out to B.I. with the encouragement for Zion. Shout out to Zion Williamson, who's on a tear right now, and keep it going, man. Keep it going, young lion. Okay. Only one that can stop you is you.
Biggest thing in life that makes me most uncomfortable is being unprepared. And that's in anything. If you're unprepared, you hear athletes talk about game speeds up, slows down. What slows down when you're prepared, speeds up when you're unprepared, right? So every time you're in a situation, I've already gone through it in my head. And if you have the same approach to a spring training game as you do a World Series game, nothing changes. Biggest thing in life that makes me most uncomfortable is being unprepared. And that's in anything. If you're unprepared, you hear athletes talk about game speeds up, slows down. What slows down when you're prepared, speeds up when you're unprepared. Right? So every time you're in a situation, I've already gone through it in my head. And if you have the same approach to a spring training game as you do a World Series game, nothing changes. Biggest thing in
there it is. There it is. So, slows down when you're prepared, speeds up when you're unprepared. Sports and in life.
You heard about Darren Peterson?
He has severe cramps, but he's getting like full body cramps, to where he's like, them are like, he can't move. It's like people are questioning my motor. It's like, no, like I really be fucked up.
Well, nigga, well, you think this is just gonna stop? What I'm saying is, it's like, because he said he don't eat certain shit.
Nigga might really be dehydrated for real.
Yeah, you might have to eat some meat and drink some more water. You might have to do that. Like, they said he was on a crazy diet. That's very alarming for like an NBA team.
Yeah,
I don't think I would voice that.
I wouldn't have said a word. No disrespect to Kansas. I don't know their medical stuff. I didn't go to Kansas. Motherfucker gonna tell you, hey, brother, you probably need to eat this. You probably need to drink this.
Yes.
Probably your best interest, because, nigga, we are invested in you. And he ain't gonna be cramping like that in the NBA.
No.
Yeah, in the NBA, he gonna be golden. I don't give a fuck what team he go to.
I told stories to other people, like, when I couldn't find what was wrong with my foot, and they took me to that doctor and put all that shit in me, and they showed me everything that was ever wrong with me. They put this blue shit in your veins, right?
Yeah.
They put it in your veins, but it showed everything, like the shit you can't see. That's how they was able to identify my knee immediately. Like, oh shit, it's cartilage. And I'm like, I didn't come here for that. I came here for my foot. But now it was alarming. Like they told me, like, that left one gonna give out, and it did exactly what they said.
Damn,
you know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna have no cartilage right there. That cartilage is hanging on by a thread.
That
was like the worst testing you could do. Like, Minnesota, shout out to them. They good people. They literally told me, because I was like, man, something wrong with my foot. I had a big ass cyst on the top, like in between my bones and my top of my foot. This test that we're doing is gonna be like the worst test that you can do, because it's gonna identify everything wrong with you, and it can go forward. It could affect your free agency. Like, we report everything.
Yeah.
It was true.
Damn, bro. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But they found that assist. I was done for the season.
What was the
It's a good story. It's a tough one. Medical exams. All right, let's talk about hoopers.
Yeah, you would think on a day like this, it's so hot, there would be nobody out here. With the baseball season, football season, people play basketball all the time. I don't know why, but they're just crazy for it. You can dribble the ball on this. You can dribble it anywhere. So most of the guys you're going to play today are probably going to be driving the ball, trying to score in the paint, try and make them shoot the outside J, because when the wind comes, even if you're a good shooter, it's not going to go down. So I think it's a matter of knowing your ability and then working it so much that you just become automatic, whether it's shooting, rebounding. And then the other thing is, you don't really have to compare to people here. You take care of what's going on over there first, and then later on, if you have to come over and play, you take care of that later on. Be the best in the country. So there's no season for basketball. You know, you would think on a day like this, it's so hot, there would be nobody out here.
Chris Mullen,
Football season, people play basketball.
Pride of Brooklyn.
I don't know why, but they're just crazy for it. You can dribble the ball.
BK.
You can dribble it anywhere. So most of the guys you're going to play today are probably going to be driving the ball, trying to score in the paint, try and make them shoot the outside J, because when the wind comes, even if you're a good shooter, it's not going to go down. So I think it's a matter of knowing your ability and then working it so much that you just become automatic, whether it's shooting, rebounding. And then the other thing is, you don't really have to compare to people here. You take care of what's going on over there first, and then later on, if you have to come over and play, you take care of that later on. Be the best in the country. So there's no season for basketball.
Mully Mo. Got a chance to meet Chris Mullen years ago. Big deal. Big fan. Run TMC. All right, let's get this. Come on, don't play with me.
Dirty to you.
John Stockton was one of the toughest guys I ever played against. We had a series in the playoffs. It was our first series in Sacramento, and we were playing against Utah. Great Carmelo and Stockton, and I felt that our team was in awe of them. We were younger, and so I told Coach Alderman before the game, I said, on the first play of the game, I'm going to lay Stockton's ass out. And Coach said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, trust me, Coach. It's the first game. We just need to do it. Like, you know, they're prepared for everything that's coming. They don't expect it. I lay him out on the screen. I'm talking about I lay him out on the best screens I ever did. Get my shoulder kind of in that head area, too, kind of make it a little dirty. He pops up off the ground, pats me on the butt and says, nice screen. Do you know how demoralizing that is? You know what I mean? So, yeah, he was one of the toughest guys, and I loved it, too. After that game, we would play him in the playoffs, and I would make rookies wait on the bus, and I would say, watch the baddest in the world pull up. And they're like, what do you mean? They think I'm going to talk about, like, his cars and all this. And John Stockton would come to the game, literally in a minivan, pop his kids out, come in there, and bust us up. So, yeah, he's a bad man. Wherever he is right now, he's still a bad man.
And he would show up and he would probably have a plaid shirt on and, you know, jeans or something. His hair parted neatly on the side. Look, he'd be so unassuming. He'd be a guy that they'd probably check his ID in other arenas.
Oh, yeah. You even thought he was, coming straight out of Catholic Church. One of the kids up there, lighting the candles, or you thought, yeah, he was the valet. You definitely didn't think he was as bad a man as he was. But he knew that, and he knew that being unassuming was part of his swagger. So he knew that, and he used that to his advantage too.
Was John Stockton dirty to you?
John Stockton was one of the toughest guys I ever played against. We had a series.
John Stockton pulled up in a minivan
in Sacramento, and we were playing against Utah. Great Carmelo and Stockton, and I felt that our team was in awe of them. We were younger, and so I told Coach Alderman before the game, I said, on the first play of the game, I'm going to lay Stockton's ass out. And Coach said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, trust me, Coach. It's the first game. We just need to do it. Like, you know, they're prepared for everything that's coming. They don't expect it. I lay him out on the screen. I'm talking about I lay him out on the best screens I ever did. Get my shoulder kind of in that head area, too, kind of make it a little dirty. He pops up off the ground, pats me on the butt and says, nice screen. Do you know how demoralizing that is?
Got right back up and said, nice screen. You know, young fella, you're going to need more than that. Another good Stockton story. And there was a couple in there. I didn't, but along the lines of showing up, everybody is driving these money cars, and he shows up in a minivan. Team USA, 92, Barcelona. Obviously, dream, all the security and everything else like that. So they got stuck in traffic, right? It's the Olympics, doesn't matter how much security you have, you can't move. So they get stuck in traffic, and they're just inching along, and these are, big time guys, we don't like to wait for this. What the heck is going on? So they said it got to a point, so they're inching along. Finally, John Stockton stood up, and they're on the bus, gets his family, his wife and his kids, and just gets off the bus. And he's like, I'm leaving. Like, no, I'm leaving. Like, let him off the bus. He's like, I'll let him off the bus. And he walks with his wife and his fam, and they didn't know who he was. He's a member of the Dream Team. And he just walks through the streets, shows up at the arena in front of everybody. What's going on? So, some can do it. So when Michael Jordan says, you want to be me for, 6 minutes, 6 hours, 6 days, wouldn't want to be me for 6 months. Wouldn't want to be me for 6 months, most recognizable face on the planet. Let's talk NCAA tournament.
Absolutely royally screwed. I mean, if anybody watched that game on Saturday night, how in the world is St. John's not a top 12, top 15 team? Right now, they're a 5 seed.
One game.
Well, I mean, they killed Connecticut, who's a 2 seed. 2 seed. So the team that they beat is a 2 seed, and they beat them 2 out of 3 times. They also won the regular season championship and the postseason tournament. And they didn't beat Connecticut on Saturday night on national television on 6 o'clock. They destroyed them. The game was not competitive. They're 10-0 before you even blinked. And St. John's got the best coach in college basketball in Patino. Not only that, they send them out to San Diego against that Northern Iowa team, which is a pain in the neck that has very difficult pace, 363rd with the pace. And then they got to play Kansas, so they're going to play 2 road games. And they're the only, because there's no St. John's fans going out to San Diego. And remember, they are the only team that starts in the East, goes west, and then has to come back east. UCLA is coming east, but they stay here because they're going to play in Washington. St. John's got to go to San Diego and then come all the way back east to play Duke if they win the 2 games. And I'm sorry, Virginia's a 3 seed and St. John's is a 5 seed. If you put St. John's and Virginia up, they played right now, right this second. You think that St. John's is not going to be a favorite in that game? Go ask. They'd be a 5-6 point favorite. Virginia beat nobody. Absolutely. I don't care about beating SMU. They beat nobody. 0-3 against Duke in North Carolina. They got killed by Duke, and they're a 3 seed. And St. John's beat UConn, a 2 seed twice, and they're a 5 seed. I got a major set. You might be right. You know more about it than me. Me, St. John's got absolutely royally screwed. I mean, if anybody watched that game on Saturday night,
number of strong points by the Mad Dog. That's a tough second-round game against, obviously, Kansas. So, you know which side of the line I'm on in that game. Let's go, Johnnies. Let's go, Storm.
I'm at this AAU game, and it costs $25 every day you get in. Friday, Saturday, and today is Sunday. Make it make sense. And if you don't believe me, watch this. Just watch. You said it's $25 all day? And usually, sometimes they used to give this. All right, you spend $40. It's good for the weekend. Make all this make sense. It's highway robbery. This is highway robbery. You know, I'm at this AAU game, and it costs $25 every day you get in. Friday, Saturday, and today is Sunday. Make it make sense. And if you don't believe me, watch this. Just watch. You said it's $25 all day? And usually, sometimes they used to give this. All right, you spend $40. It's good for the weekend. Make all this make sense. It's highway robbery. This is highway robbery. You know, I'm at this AAA.
No lies detected. It's unfortunate. Say the least. I'm on the other side of that as I referee these events, so I don't have to pay. I'm getting paid to be there, exercise. I enjoy refereeing. Different levels, developmental. Or some of these elite tournaments. You see some of the ESPN guys. It's just the costs. And I know we're in a tough time right now in the world, and costs are going up. But before these challenging days that we're in now, it's been just up across the board. I don't hope. I hope these things can be written off, honestly, because on the one hand, you're happy that more people have the opportunity rather to participate. But on the other hand, they don't, because you just want to see your kid play, and it's infuriating, honestly, because you already paid money to be on the team. Then you're paying money to travel, stay at a hotel, so on and forth. And now you're being charged another equivalent fee of the total cost to be on the team and the cost of traveling just to be at these venues. They haven't even talked about parking. Same thing. Charge you $50 to park, $75 to park. Crazy. So it's what am I trying to say? You don't have to go to all of these tournaments. I know, and particularly with the young kids, because they don't, and if the parents haven't been through it, it's more of an experience, so on and forth. And Disneyland, like Disneyland doesn't get away with some of these things. These theme parks don't, and their costs are baked in, but they don't get away with some of the things that are going on in youth sports. So, have the experience. I get that, but do the research so you can. Your regional tournament with just the regional teams, far superior to some of these, national, quote unquote, national events, where they,
Let me tell y'all about what might have been the greatest and craziest state championship basketball run of all time. I would say meet the kid, but y'all should already know his name. This is Brody Bamilla, a 6'8" Texas baseball commit. Yeah, I did say baseball. Meanwhile, he just led Bishop Fee into their first boys state championship in school history as a baseball player. Brody went off with 36 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 blocks in the state championship game. And the crazy thing is, Fee didn't even do it as the top seed either. They did it as the 14th seed. First round, they knocked off Acton Boxborough. Then they went on the road to number 3 Needham and upset them. Then they went to number 6 Bridgewater Ram, and Brody dropped 46 points and 25 rebounds in an upset win. Then came the Final Four against number 2 Andover, and we thought it gets to a point for Brody. But the baseball player had other plans that night and decided to go off for 53 points, 23 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Just like that, they punched their ticket to the state championship game to face off against number 1 Central Catholic. Last night in the state championship game, Brody and Bishop Fee found a way to take down Central Catholic in a 66-63 win and won their first state championship in Bishop Fee boys basketball history, all led by a Texas baseball commit who was basically averaging 40 points per game, 20 rebounds, and 4 blocks in the playoffs. Please let me know when you ever heard someone average that stat line in the state championship run. I'll wait. The crazy thing is that 36 was his lowest scoring game of the playoffs this year. This is easily one of the most dominant playoff runs we have ever seen, and the fact it's being done by a baseball player makes it even more memorable. Do me a favor, Bishop fan, and retire his number right now. Please and thank you. My guy is a legend, and basketball ain't even his main sport. Congrats to Brody and Bishop Fan School for winning their first basketball state championship in school history. Wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future.
That's how it went down in the Commonwealth this year. Bananas. We haven't seen something like that since the days of Dana Barros. It was bananas. It was bananas. And so, yes. SandCity, you know what I mean? Winding down. Just want to go across, dot the T's and cross the I's. You know, it's been a very good episode. We're gonna be locked in. We're gonna be locked in. You know, I keep saying that, but we have these hiatus here and there. But then you got to come back and get back into it. So, World Baseball Championship is coming up. It's concluding. I don't care if it's been how long. We gotta get it right. Team USA powering through. DR, you know, there was some feelings. There was some handshakes that didn't necessarily take place. But we want USA all the way to go ahead and capture that championship. N.B.A. season is inching, towards the conclusion and the playoffs. So following those, those races in both conferences, especially with guys coming back healthy, Mr. Tatum here in Boston, putting the Eastern Conference, I'm not going to say the league, putting the Eastern Conference on notice. I know spring training is going on, so we're right. And then we got the World Baseball Spring training is not going on because we got the World Baseball Championship, but it's coming up. So we'll lock in there. And we didn't get the chance to get to the Oscars tonight. And there were some films, some local films in the documentary category that very fortunate to have here on the Cape at the Woods Hole Film Festival. So that was outstanding to see them being recognized. So we will dovetail back to the Oscars. But for now, you know what it is. Let's get this production right here. What's going on? Thank you, folks, for checking in. SandCity, go.